This is your WINOL news update. In the headlines today, TV legend Alan Titchmarsh becomes the University of Winchester's Chancellor. Noisy students risk losing their nightlife after residents complain. And new groundbreaking stem cell research could cure blindness. You might have seen him on TV, but if you're a student at the University of Winchester, you could be receiving a handshake from him at graduation. Alan Titchmarsh has officially become the Chancellor of the University of Winchester, and crowds of people attended a procession welcoming the former journalist today. Laura Harding caught the action.
The University of Winchester installed Alan Titchmarsh as its Chancellor today in a formal ceremony.
This is a special day for me, but it's also a special day for the university. Today I begin my journey with the University of Winchester.
The ceremony included the giving of robes for a role that will last until 2020.
For making me your Chancellor, thank you.
I feel thrilled and tremendously honoured to be Chancellor of a university that I've long admired. I love its ethos, I love its inclusivity, I love the fact that the students rate it as one of the most important and from their point of view satisfying universities in the country. To be in the top 4 of student satisfaction speaks volumes to me. It means that students here are happy. Happy students learn well. I'm happy to come in and very quietly learn about it and contribute where I can. I'm not one of those great new brooms and comes in and sweeps everything outside and says, right, there'll be changes. I have a lot to learn before I start doing anything here, but anything I can contribute to from the students' point of view and from the staff point of view, I will. And I do hope students will come up and say hello and not go, it's him, and go away. I'm very approachable. That should be my role as well. I should be a pair of ears as well as a pair of eyes and as well as a bloke in a posh frock.
Prime Minister David Cameron made his speech at the Conservative Party conference earlier today, majoring on issues like housing that hugely impact on young people. With live reaction from students to his speech, our political correspondent Hattie Waldron has this report.
A group of students watched Cameron's speech live in the WINOL newsroom.
We're moving into the light, but we're not there yet.
Risky, but policies are really good. It's really nice to hear him saying all these things that he wants to see happen.
As a Scottish person, I found it a bit silly when he slipped up and said Little England as how Europe used Britain.
There was a lot of kind of immature and kind of silly jokes about things.
My brother's trying to look for a house, so that's quite close to a family thing. And the extremism thing was quite a big thing for me as well.
He tried to fix some of the problem, like the education problem and the housing problem. I think it's pretty good, to hear that he aware of something like this. That he do care about us.
There were several significant areas of David Cameron's speech. The EU referendum was of course on the agenda. It is currently splitting the party. Cameron has said he won't be continuing as party leader after this term, so the question remains who will replace him. With the situation in Syria escalating, Cameron needs to know if his party back him over potential airstrikes. David Cameron's speech emphasised on equality and a strong negative attack towards Jeremy Corbyn, but judging from these reactions, he's still got a long way to go to win over the youth vote.
The student union at the University of Winchester has issued a warning to students following complaints by residents. Officials say the union's reputation and licence is in jeopardy due to the level of noise students make after attending nightly events hosted at the SU. Student Union President Savannah King and team are working closely with Winchester City Council to tackle the issue.
We take noise really seriously at the Student Union because it can affect our licence. Part of having rights, you also have responsibilities, and so one of those responsibilities is to be, a responsible citizen of Winchester.
Hampshire County Council has confirmed it's set to axe several hundred jobs and cut services in order to save costs. The council confirms it needs to save around £98 million by 2018, which includes several redundancies. Our community reporter Ross Perkins joins me in the studio. So what's going on, Ross?
Well, essentially, Hampshire Council needs to make £98 million of cuts over the next 2 to 3 years in order to stay out of the red. So a lot of services are going to be streamlined, and of course a lot of redundancies are going to take place, unfortunately.
So what has the reaction been to this news?
Well, understandably, cuts to the services and a lot of redundancies aren't going to be the most popular measures, and certainly UKIP councillor Andy Moore for East was particularly unimpressed. He said that the cuts were unnecessary considering the large amount of reserves that the council are sitting on. He orders the council to make a U-turn immediately over these planned proposals.
So an uncertain future for quite a lot of worried people.
Pretty much so. I mean, the council hasn't confirmed the exact number of jobs that are to go, but when you look at what they are planning to cut, you can kind of get an estimate. Certainly the worst hits will be the adult social care and services. They are expecting to get around £52.5 million worth of cuts. Other sectors such as children's services, which don't include the schools, they're facing around £23 million worth of cuts. The economy, environment and transport is around £15 million worth of cuts. By 2018, the council is expecting to make up around £103 million worth of savings.
Thank you, Ross. Now, in other news, a bitter row is brewing on the outskirts of Winchester after plans were approved to build new homes on a well-loved village park. Residents have now come up with a last-ditch plan to halt the development. Community correspondent Alyssa Lima explains all.
25 houses are set to be built on what the villagers say is the last green space in Kingsworthy. Locals are so angry about it, they arranged a campaign group to try to stop the plan.
I think that people feel very bitter about it because democracy is supposed to be listening to people, and the majority of people's opinions are taken as the way forward, and this was totally disregarded.
One of the turning points was when the local councillor Robert Johnston reversed his position and voted for the development. In a statement to Winchester News Online, he explained that he backed the move because of the need for affordable housing in the area. He said, "My decision to support the scheme has not been well received by the 164 objectors who live close to the site. This is not an overwhelming disapproval from the 2,000 houses in Kingsworthy." In a bid to stop the development, residents are now trying to get the land rezoned as a village green, meaning it could not be built on.
I will be standing up for them at the meeting because I have personally walked on that field and used it for open space for over 25 years.
An area popular with dog walkers, families and fruit pickers. Its fate will be decided in the next few months.
That was Alyssa speaking to Rosemary Clark, chairperson of Topfield Action Group, and Jackie Porter, Liberal Democrat. Get on your bike. That's the message from the minister as they plan to double the number of cyclists in the UK. But doubts have been raised this week over the effectiveness of the new scheme to promote electric bicycles. Miriam Nautzbakken reports.
Bicycles. They are a familiar sight and seen by many as the key to decrease greenhouse emissions, congestion, and help people stay active. The government hopes that a £700,000 electric bike rent scheme will do just that. A local bike shop owner believes the scheme will boost business, but is concerned that the government needs to do more to increase the number of bike users.
The grant provided by the government will certainly, I think, help our business because it will make more people aware of electric bikes, and then there will be pressure put on the government more to make them perhaps invest more in infrastructure if more people were trying to use bicycles.
On the other hand, a Winchester Cycling Club member said the fund could have been spent more wisely.
Personally, I think it would be probably better to put money into regular bikes. Electric bikes are initially quite expensive on the layout. They're more expensive than a normal road bike. However, anything that encourages somebody to cycle, it's good.
The government is also investing over the next 5 years in cycle training and infrastructure to hit the brakes on congestion.
That was Miriam speaking to Chris Bailey, a bike shop co-owner, and Richard New, a cycling club riding officer. Now, surgeons in London have carried out what is being called a groundbreaking new treatment which could cure blindness. British doctors have hailed the successful trial of the procedure, which took place at Moorfields Eye Hospital. Our science and technology correspondent Victoria Wang reports.
Researchers may have found a cure for blindness. Scientists in London think stem cells are the key to restoring eyesight. Professor Pete Coffey's research could transform the lives of nearly 360,000 people.
What these new therapies are trying to achieve is a new paradigm within medicine, which is to replace cells which are diseased by new cells which are non-diseased.
A 60-year-old woman is the first to receive this revolutionary treatment. If successful, she could have her eyesight back by Christmas.
That's all from us here. I'm Lauren Clark, and for more award-winning news, features and sport, head over to winol.co.uk.